What's going on, people? It's Mr. Dore back again with another podcast. This is a special podcast, people, because I've been doing this for seven years now, and I'm saying it right now on this channel. I'm going to Europe to see Nottingham Forest play after 29 years. I'm excited, can't you tell? Myself, this idiot, this clown, and this Welsh bellend. Buzzing about it. So people in the chat, how excited are you seeing Nottingham Forest at last play in a Europa League game? I'm excited. So I've not even packed people, and I've just been excited. But people, please hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, and get involved in the chat. Whatever we're going to say, we're going to talk so much today about the trip that we are going. Like myself, Des, and Molo are we going. Well, Steve, he can't go because white is they've banned him from Seville. So yeah, people get involved. Right, let's get the panel in. First of all, let's start with the Welsh Wizards. Steve, how are you, Steve?
Yeah, not too bad, Ben. Not too bad. Looking forward to Wednesday. I'd be sitting on my settee in cold old drizzly Wales. No, actually, it's given a nice week, so I should have a bit of sunshine to watch it. So I'm not.
I went
you're
last
not
week to
loving it up out there.
and all it does is rains. All it does is rains. I'm not going to Wales. I'm not going to Wales ever again.
It's given a nice week, Ben. It's given a nice sunny week. So
don't rub it into Des. Des was actually soaking.
Oh,
so. But yeah, people showing a lot to Steve. Next up, we've got the man himself, Molo. How you doing, Molo?
Yeah, all good. Thanks, Ben.
I cannot wait, man. Are you excited as well?
Yeah, looking forward to it. I think you three are all competitive international virgins, aren't you, on Forest?
Hey. I've done friendlies. We've done friendlies. Does that count?
No.
We've done friendlies, man. But yeah, I'm a virgin when it comes to European football. But yeah, make sure everyone subscribes, follows Molo as well. Tricky Talks as well. Molo, your podcast is that isn't it?
Yeah. One was done and recorded today, and is out already, preparing for Seville. Talking about Burnley, obviously.
If anyone's watching from that chat, can someone put the link in, if please? So
yeah, I'm useless to stuff like that.
So if anyone's watching, I don't know. Yeah, so I'll put it in. So it's fine. Last but not least, we've got the man himself, Des. Are you excited, Des?
Yeah, bit. No, of course I am really excited. Obviously, never seen us play competitively in Europe. Been to a couple of friendlies; they're good, but this is going to be another level, isn't it? Even amongst everything that's going off right now. Just say I can't hear Molo. Is there a reason for that?
I can hear Molo.
Is that a bad thing that you can't hear me? Can you hear me now?
You can't hear Molo?
No.
I can.
I can hear him.
I can hear Steve.
You can hear Steve.
Anyway, crack on. I can
make sure, like I said, everyone follows Des on it's gone far from travel. Des, are you doing a before and after in Seville?
Absolutely. Yeah. Why would I not get abused when I'm in Europe?
So make sure, like I said, everyone follows Des on his Instagram. Like I said, Des Oldham on X as well, Far From the Travel as well. Make sure, like I said, everyone follows Tricky Talks as well. I will put the link in the description. And Steve, like I said, Steve doesn't do any social media. He just doesn't do out. So, but yeah, it's just him and the rainy weather in Wales. So yeah, right, people, let's get in. Let's start again. Let's just little talk about the Burnley game. Little talk, and we'll get on to the Betis. Where should we start? Who wants to start about the Burnley game? Let me start with you, Molo. Was you happy with a point?
Burnley? Absolutely. I think I said it, didn't I, before the game, and said it on the full-time whistle, and lots of other people have taken that phrase, stop the rot. That was the important thing. We should have won. Hello, Des. We should have won in terms of chances, but the most important thing was not to lose. We had plenty of chances. We looked quite good going forward, particularly what was nice second half when they were starting to get into the game. We brought the subs on, and as you'd hope against a promoted team, our subs made us significantly better than them. The only thing I'm not happy about is the suicidal flipping faffing around with the ball inside and around your own box. Cost us a goal, nearly cost us a goal at the start of the second half. They had 3 good chances in that game, if you can call them chances, 3 near misses. 2 of them were gifts from us, and 1 was a gift from the referee for a free kick that never was. Not disrespecting Burnley in any way, but they weren't a great side, but they were hard working. I don't think a draw was quite the fair result, but if you don't take your chances, you don't win anything, do you?
Before I get, well, I was going to go for the chat. Eve, I hope you're all my friend. Stefan, even in chat, wish I was going to Spain. Go easy on the Ben Dore. Go easy on the Spanish beers. Des, bloody hell. I love how he just says about me and Des. What? It's this guy. It's this guy who got this guy got under the drink as well. So, but yeah. So
I got Ellie looking after me again.
Oh, she's babysitting you again. Shout out to Ellie, man. Evening, Dore, Des, and Molly and Steve. Exciting time. This time 4 years ago, Lag Nation Championship. Who thought that? Come on, you Reds. Exactly. As well. Michael says, ole, ole, ole. Razda says, can't wait for the Reds. Wins in the cars. Come on, you Reds. Danish Red. This is the night to remember. Safe travel to all you lucky. Going down to Spain. Chris from America, DoreOntour, long wait, US and edition. Vamoose, yeah, I can't wait for the vlogs, man. Me doing vlogs, Des doing African reactions, Marlo just being Marlo, and Welsh Steve stuck in Wales. So, so I say I can't help myself. I'm still fuming with the weather, Steve. That's all it is. I'm fuming from that game. But I'm not going to talk about it.
You hate Burnley too now.
Don't remind me, Bola. Don't remind me last Wednesday.
Because Steve leaves
the very sore subject.
Because Steelers in Wales, he got absolutely hammered left, right, and centre from the Swansea fans. So, but yeah. Colin, evening. How you doing, my friend? Way. What's that mean? Enjoy yourself. Okay, I will enjoy myself. How you doing, Way? Again, fair play coming on tonight. Steve Hake looks stuffing. You read that, Steve?
What? All right.
How does luck come into it? I think we've put the service in, haven't we? And League One and Championship days. I got one word for you.
You know what? I've had a haircut. I've had a trim, just fullest trim. People in the chat, who's got better trim, myself, Steve, or Des? I can't say you, Molly, because you've not had a haircut, have you?
I'm having mine tomorrow, my European haircut. I'll just ask them to
have you dyed your hair like Steve has?
Grey ones.
Have you dyed it like Steve?
Have I what?
Have you dyed it like Steve? People in the chat, I'm going to put a Steve on the voice.
My silver's natural.
I've covered my mouth.
Right. Sorry, I've gone off topic. Right, let's again. What was your opinion on the game, Steve, with the Burnley game?
You know, I've read so much about negativity about it. I don't think we played that bad. And I agree with Marlo. Take a point. I mean, they are no mugs. I mean, it took Liverpool, 94 minutes to score a dodgy pen that should have been retaken as well. And, you know, we scored in the first 2 minutes. So, I mean, what other games they've had this season? I mean, they're no mugs. I mean, you know, the 3 promoted sides this year are far stronger than in recent years, as we've seen already. I know maybe things will start to wear off soon in regarding the squad depth and injuries and things like that. Will catch up with these lesser squads. But I mean, coming back to the game, I think we didn't play that bad. Also, the frustration was that the keeper pulled 3 or 4 really good saves, and it always seems these keepers always seem to have these great games against us. You know, and next week you'll probably see him spit it into his own goal. That's the kind of thing that happens with us. You know, these keepers always seem to pluck these saves. I think Mauro just touched on it then. I think the players we brought on showed the quality that we had over them, the chances we created. And that's the thing. I'd rather us being creating chances and getting frustrated that way than a game like the West Ham game where nothing was happening, we weren't creating anything, and you're just sitting there bored. At least they showed the players were trying. The conditions didn't help either. I know, slight excuse, but in them conditions, I've played in rain like that, and it does weigh heavy. It makes you feel heavier when you're running. It's just in your face, the rain lashing down, the wind. Burnley is a horrible place anyway in them conditions. So, it seemed like
Yeah,
it is great Burnley now.
it wasn't
No
worse.
disrespect.
Listen, Swansea was worse.
Whoa. But you're telling me though, was Burnley worse than Swansea?
No, that's Des. What's worse, Burnley or Swansea?
6 and 2 threes. There was a sense.
Yeah.
I was wet. I was wet. Every bit of me was wet.
Yeah, and that makes it worse. Yeah, but no. Overall, Ben, I would take a point. Stop the rot. Yeah, just move on now, and can't wait. We get on to Wednesday now in a bit. So yeah.
Des, let's say Des was there as well on Saturday, and for me, I was this high line. Like, I need to get used to it because I'm getting so nervous about this high line, man. Like, you see Milenkovic, like, he's a fantastic defender, but going forward, I'm like, what the fuck's he? Sorry for my language, but what's he doing? Like, he's trying to get past 3 players and, like, get back. Like, Des, did you?
That was a peach of a pass for Wood.
Like, people in the chat, like, Des, did you feel the same? Because I'm like, what? This high line, man. I'm like, no, I can't get this is going to hurt my head. What are you feeling, Des, by it?
Yeah, look, the game. My thoughts on the game on Saturday. We didn't play bad, in parts. I said in my post match that both sides would have come out of that game thinking they could have and should have won, even though I felt personally we were the better side in the main. When we scored the goal, of course they'd not touched the ball. We looked lively from the start. We got ourselves in front. And then it's disappointing, isn't it? You score so early. And for 20 minutes, we controlled the game. I felt Douglas Luiz and Zinchenko stepping up into midfield. I'll come back to that in a minute. Was really working for us, and it was doing the trick. Keeping possession. I was counting Luiz's passes, and 17 consecutive passes he put to a Forest shirt from the start in the first 20 minutes. So, in that sense, you just think this looks good. This is what we want to see. This is the positive. But then we let them back in, and that's frustrating. That they actually found the weakness in the fact we were putting Zinchenko in midfield. So he's going to play like that against teams like Burnley. I get it. I'm not criticising it. I'm not criticising Ange. But what that did, it meant all the others moved across a bit to cover that. Kyle Walker was getting the ball from the right-hand side and pinging it to the left. And that's ultimately what brought them back into the game. They then started getting crosses into the box. The crowd got up, they got behind them. The goal, it was from a knockdown from the left-hand side to the right post, and then it come back to the left. And he scuffed it, and Zinchenko sort of knocked it in the goal. Those things happen. But then they really had a head of steam because that's what they were looking for. They're looking for their season to kickstart as well. And until half time, I felt they was the better side. Of course, they hit the crossbar. And then after the break, they come out because they were confident from what they'd done at the end. And it wasn't until Forest made changes, I felt, that we really took hold of the game again. The substitutes, the players were starting to tire. Obviously, the conditions, to play football in those conditions is tough. It's tough for 60 minutes, never mind 90. But we did get a foot back in the game, and I felt it was when we started actually swinging the ball in. I was shouting for 5 or 10 minutes, get the ball in the box. Get the ball in the box. And
yes,
until
Des,
we started
I heard you,
Des.
I heard you, Des. I heard you. I heard you.
And when we started putting the ball in, we started creating chances. Jesus had his header. Balls were whipping across. Nico had another chance from the edge of the box. The obviously good save. And I felt, again, we was in control and looked like the ones most likely to nick it. So I think we kind of bookended the 30 minutes, 15 minutes either side of half time. We bookended the first 30 and last 30 minutes in terms of probably just about deserving to win the game. But that's all well and good. Look, you'll draw games you should win, you'll lose games you should win, and vice versa. But the most worrying thing for me, and it does worry me, I'm not overly negative on the performance. I wasn't a fan of the manager, but I'm not against the manager now. He's our manager. We've got to get behind him. But the worrying thing is the narrative that's been created around all this, and the fact that there was a section of Forest fans booing at the end when he walked over, and to see that 3 games in, it just made me think this is a dead man walking. Honestly, because the narrative created by, and I think it comes from Sky mainly. It's Sky who are absolutely obsessed. It's hysterical around and and they won't leave him alone. But that filters down to us, and us as fans will pick up on this stuff. And yes, it is a bit gamble football. I want it to actually pay off. It feels like 50-50 whether we're going to win or lose. I want it to pay off, and I actually want him to do well now because of this hysteria around him. Even though I wasn't a massive fan and have been critical in the past, I just feel there's just something wrong. There's just something wrong. And when you looked at the players on the pitch, the most worrying aspect for me in all of it was they didn't quite look together. And the one thing we had under Nuno, whether we were playing well, whether we were not playing so well, whether things was happening, they looked in it together, and it just felt like no one knew each other. It felt like big players were lacking confidence, and real big players for us. And the only one who really stood out for me, if I'm summarising the game, the man of the match by a mile for Forest was Nico Williams. Obviously 100%. He got the goal, he got the shot, but he had to dig in deep, because of this whole cover situation and Zinchenko stepping up. I don't mind it if it's working, but again, we've got to be clinical in this setup. In the last 2 games, we should have won by being clinical. Look, you'll miss chances in the rain, and the keeper's done a couple of brilliant saves, but there's just my overriding comment on my post-match was Forest need a spark right now. They need something, and hopefully we're going to come on to the Betis game. It's going to be a 3-0 win away in Betis when we've all had some Spanish beer in the sun.
I'm drinking a cup of tea, Des, and you can buy it as well.
But I can't emphasise that enough. Before we move on, it just felt like there's some sort of cohesion missing. They don't have to be each other's best mate from day one. They don't have to be slapping each other on the back, But it might be just little things under Nuno where they go and pull each other up when they'd got fouled or something like that. And it just seemed like everybody was on a different schedule kind of thing, and I didn't like that. That worried me, as well as the fans really sort of laying into Ange, and I thought, this don't end well, and that's really worrying because I actually want the guy to do well now.
Can I just add to what Des said there and put a point? The atmosphere in the away end was very, very flat compared to the worst away end we've created since promotion, I would say. I don't know if you agree with that, Dore, and if Des... Can you hear me now, Des? No.
Des, can you hear Mono?
I can't hear a thing. It's really disconcerting.
Wow. I'm
not like the Forest players on the pitch on Saturday. I'm not ignoring
don't you think, though, realistically, you look at the side we had on Saturday, you got a brand new left-back, a centre-back who deserves a mention, by the way. Murato had a really good game defensively. A new central midfielder, an almost new winger. You got 4 players in key position. Well, they're all key positions, playing together. It's the first time that team's ever played together in that way. That lineup, I think, it's bound to be a bit of a few teething problems and stuff as they get used to each other. I think, but the flat away end, I didn't realise people were booing at the end. It got so wet and cold by the end.
I heard a little bit. I heard a little bit of booing as well,
which is ridiculous because there was a lot of positives as well.
It wasn't everyone. It wasn't everyone, but there was.
Oh, so can you hear him? Can you hear him now, Des? Can you hear him?
No, I'm just because you said that. I can't hear a thing. It's weird.
So, Des, what Molo's saying is, what there was booing at the end. That's where, and yeah, it's not.
It was a very, very flat away end anyway.
A flat away. So, you know what? So basically, right, this is what Molo's saying, Des. It was flat in the away end, and it wasn't great. Was that right, Molo?
The match we played all right, but the atmosphere was crap, wasn't it?
Yeah. So in Welsh.
Can I just say a quick point as well, though, about the Ange thing and what Des is touching on? I think going back to that awful Wednesday night last week, right? And all the memes have come out about the Big Ange's face as being, the screenshot of his face when the third goal goes in, all what he says is who we are, mate, and all that, and people are taking the mick. If that happened under Nuno, I don't reckon half as much would have been made out of it. Yes, okay, they still would have come back 1-3-2 and so on. But because we got Big Ange now, it almost feels like he comes with a circus, because Big Ange is one of them charismatic characters that he has a following.
Oh, he's
wait, talk again. Talk again, Molo.
Can you hear me now?
I heard you then.
I was messing. I was just pretending to talk.
I
made you a sign.
I went out to see if I could hear you.
What I was saying, I think it's the flattest away end since we got promoted.
I'm just saying, I was just touching on the Big Ange thing. Is I think what you get with Big Ange, again, he has a big following, but also has a lot of people who target him. And picking up on Des's point about Sky, unfortunately, that's what's going to come with Ange now. He's going to come with that kind of circus feel to him, where people are going to jump on him, but also back him. Like, I still got a lot of Spurs mates who love him, who love Big Ange.
You've got to love him, Steve. Wow. You've got to love him because he won the first European goal.
But then I've had one or two Spurs mates text me going, good luck, sarcastically. So I think he just comes with that, if it works, if it comes, like Celtic fans still love him. You know what I mean? I think he's just one of them characters where we're just going to have to get used to. And he did say something in his press conference about European football, and Des mentioned the togetherness. Maybe this is the best thing for the squad, to go away, treat it like a lads a night away, for example, go and play your football, be professional, obviously, but spend that time away in another country, and that's where they may bond. So it's just building, like he said in the press conference, it's a whole new experience now for these Forest players, for a lot of them anyway. I know some of them have played European football, but so that's what I was going to say about Big Ange. I think you are going to 50-50 on him, but it's just, we got to back him, like Des said, he is our manager now, and this is going forward.
There's one very quick and quick way to change that narrative, though, isn't it, Des? Get results.
Yes, exactly.
Nobody notices the bad things when you're winning. If we'd have beat West Ham the other week, no one would have said, the team are worried about what's happening with Nuno. Results at the moment, isn't it?
I said, Ben, going back tonight, when Cooper was in charge, when he was on thin ice, I said, whoever comes in next has to hit the ground running, because how much we praised Cooper. But when Nuno came in, he lost his first game, and then we went to Newcastle and stuffed them 3-1. And instantly, we all went, we got Nuno, really? Next thing, we win 3-1 at St. James's Park. We all like, yay, this guy's, he's come to save us. And that's how we change. Stuff like that.
But this is part of the problem, isn't it? Nuno, look, we got very lucky with Nuno. Not ultimately in the end. He wasn't lucky. He was good at his job. But the last two managers who've come into Forest have come in after relative success. They've not come into an absolute shit show of a relegation battle. I know he did come into a relegation, but we've still been relatively successful. So Nuno could take that on because we were down there. Now you've got Ange coming in with this big circus, and just to sort of add to what Steve says, it's not the fact that everyone's had to get Ange. It's not the fact that the players aren't trying or doing what they need to do. It's not the fact that we need results right now at this point. It's just a bit of everything, isn't it? There's just nothing quite working, and everybody's just a little bit glum about it. You mentioned the crowd, Molo. Well, I think part of that, and it's no excuse, was probably everyone was soaking wet through and a bit peed off. Or if we were winning, we would have forgot about all that.
Yeah.
What I mean? And I just think we, like I said, my overriding thought was we need that spark. You know, we need something good to happen, like a Bristol City away, you know, or something like that.
What a
When
day!
we went to
What a day!
Barnsley, and Cooper changed the game, or when we went to Newcastle and Elanga and Chris Wood got his hat trick, and it was, you know, we was all a bit flat then, thinking have we got the right man, and I just think we need that because. If I'm completely honest, I don't like it. You know, I'm not used to it.
Nah.
And I think part of the reason the fans are a bit too vocal on social media, on Twitter, and not vocal in the stand is because they've bought into all this nonsense. Do you know, they bought into the chaos. It goes back to that thing I always say to you guys about how our job is to support the team. Do you know, it's not being happy clapper with Ange, because I've said for 2 years I think he's the biggest forward in football. But I'd rather be wrong. I'd rather be wrong about that and Forest win than be right and Forest lose. Do you know, because that's what's more important to me. And I think that's what we've got to do. But somehow we've got to, whether it's the crowd, just go mental in Betis and then on Saturday at home, or whether it's 2 wins out of 2, you know, like Molo says, wins will just bring it together. Players will be with each other, you know, and that's why it was so disappointing Saturday. It was a hard one to take in the end because, yes, a point in reality, you take it, you move on. Burnley have done well in recent weeks and all these things. We can all find those excuses, reasons, not excuses. We can all find those reasons to make it positive, but the biggest thing would have been a win. You know, everyone's on side. Those boos don't happen if we win, you know, on Saturday. And that's where I just think I'd love to be going to Betis, how I was feeling after Brentford. That's what's disappointed me, just a tinge of disappointment. And seeing the club almost take a backward step in the Premier League. We always have this argument, don't we? Now you might talk about it at some point. Of would you finish 17th or win the Europa?
That's the next one, Des. That's the next one.
Do you want me to start?
Not yet. Just keep going. That's the end. That's the end of the conversation.
But I'll leave it then. I'll shut up for a bit and let someone else speak.
Shut up then.
I've got a point on that.
So people, please do hit the like button. Make sure Des doesn't talk much. Hit the like button, subscribe if you know. I put the link, people, at the top. Make sure everyone follows Tricky Talk podcast. Molo and the rest of the crew. I've done a podcast, so if you can after the stream, if you can't sleep, people who's going to Spain, go and listen to it. I'm going to listen to it. So you got Molo. Is it all the gang on Molo?
To help you sleep. Is that yeah, all 4.
It's all 4. So make sure everyone listens to that as well. Make sure everyone follows Des as well on Forever We Travel. Hear him talk so much as well, like he does on here. And as well, Steve's got no social media, as always. Sorry, Steve. Let me ask you, Molo. We always like this debate about Douglas Luiz and Anderson together. I thought those was very good, man. Do you think it's the way forward now?
100%. I've been banging not Douglas Luiz's drum, and this is where me and Des have had a long-term difference of footballing view. But I've, to an extent, actually, I think this magical number 6 is an absolute myth. I think someone like Makelele kind of came along and did what he did. What's his name? Come along to Chelsea.
Kante.
Was it Leicester? Kante. And you've got Rodri. But they're a rare breed. They're a rare breed, those people who seem to be able to do that number 6 role. What I think we need in reality, and what we started to see, ironically, man of the match every game. You know, Anderson was going to change his name to man of the match up until Saturday, until almost. Ironically, Anderson didn't have his best game, did he? But what I love about him, if you're going off at a slight tangent, is those last 15, 20 minutes, even though he'd not been great for the first 60 or 70, he came good in the onslaught, didn't he? He was key to that. Anyway, I think the best midfield, I know I always hark back to being old school and European tours and all that, but the best midfield I've ever seen at Forest as a team was Webb and Hodge. And when one went forward, the other one would sit. And there was no, especially under Clough, there was no big plan to it. There was no, you're going to hold, I'm going to break. It was opportunists, and they used their football brain to sit in if they needed to. And I look at the way those two play, and I think that's the you know, I nearly swore then. I'm going to talk FIFA absolute crap now that youngsters say today, right? We've now got that perfect double pivot. Yeah. What we've got is two proper centre midfielders who get about the pitch and they're where the ball is, they're where the game is. And on that last 20 minutes, we outnumbered Burnley wherever we had the ball. And like Des said, we started putting in some crosses and they were struggling, weren't they? Burnley's man of the match on all their stuff was their goalkeeper. On Finalysis, their top 5 players were all defenders and the goalkeeper. That tells you everything about the game, doesn't it, in a sense? So I think Douglas Luiz is a great signing on what we've seen so far. It looks like we're going to have the Aston Villa version, which is what we want. And him and Anderson together with, let's credit where it's due as well, after all the brickbats he was getting and the idiocy that was thrown at him, Gibbs White had a really decent game, a big improvement. I'm not saying he's back to his top end form or anything, but he was pivotal in everything good we did. I think that midfield 3 as a first choice has got massive potential. Particularly, that was their first game as a 3, wasn't it? Together, I think, because I think when the subs were made and that foreign land over to the west, I think I don't think those 3 were on the pitch at the same time. But that as a first choice midfield potentially has got some serious potential. And I think, like I say, Anderson and Luiz next to each other, I think that could be absolutely spot on. The double pivot, as the young people like to call it.
Double pivot. Oh, that word, I hate it. I hate the double pivot. Who said it? I think it was Dave. Double pivot. And all that. But
it's just, well, Dave's too old to be talking like a FIFA generation gamer. They're just proper midfielders who get where the ball is and where the game is and don't, read the game so they're in the game where it matters.
Have you noticed what happens when Shevchenko slots in the midfield? What happens? Yeah. Douglas Luiz goes into left back.
Yeah.
He slots in.
Not all the time.
Not all the time, but he did it. He did it a few times last week, and he did it on Saturday a few times as well.
So did Anderson, though, a couple of times. That whole Zinchenko thing, I think he's a very, very good footballer. But as Des Walker would say,
with the ball. He's comfortable with the ball as well.
Say, is he seriously impacting the game by going inside? I love him. I think he's got a real good, a really good signing for what we need. Ironically, we can't use him in Europe.
Well,
but if you look at his stats, I don't think he had any part in the goal, but he cost us a goal. Do you know what I mean? I don't mean because I don't mean he finished it off. That goal came because he fannied around the left back, lost the ball, gave away the throw in, and they scored indirectly from the throw.
You're saying that though. Did you see that strike he had from about 25 yards out?
Yes.
Did he go in?
Yes.
Yeah, but still,
just
a strike on goal.
Just on Molo's point about what I said before, basically the number 6 was in Nuno's team. That's where we needed a number 6. In that defensive lineup where we sit deep and we needed to get the ball quicker to Gibbs White, Hudson-Odoi, Elanga. That's where we needed 6. I don't necessarily believe a number 6 is the be-all and end-all in every football team ever. I just believed in the way Nuno set up to protect the back 4, to get the ball, move it forward quickly. The problem was quickly, wasn't it? Look, Yates, Dominguez, Sangare, they don't move the ball quick enough. And I think the new, obviously Dominguez has not had a shout yet, but I'm hearing things like the new manager wants more out of Yates and Sangare in that sense, to move the ball quicker. What you got with these guys is one-touch passing, especially when Zinchenko makes the extra man. It allows that flexibility. I grew up on the same teams as Molo, although I'm younger, obviously.
You can't tell
where one went forward and one stayed back. And I love that, but football is slightly different now, and with the fact we play one striker and a number 10 who's the number 10 I want further up the pitch. That's the key thing for me in all of this. Gibbs White will be what we know he is, and he'll be better even if we get him further up the pitch. With these 2 players in, and when Zinchenko does make that extra man, or when he's not playing and you've got Nico Williams and Oloaina bombing up and down the line, that then gives them opportunity for one to go and one to slip back into fullback or deeper or that kind of thing. So I think it worked really well when it worked on Saturday, when we've got the ball. The problem, and we've seen it with Ange's teams, and what really worries me is whilst he's settling in, whilst he's trying to get points and win people over, work off Forest's biggest strength. The biggest strength for the last 3 years has been the defence. When we was in the Championship, it was built around Steve Cook, Joe Worrell, Scott McKenna. We moved up and we had to level up in the defence. We started out with Nia Carte, Willy Bolly, and we levelled up. We levelled up to the point, even with fullbacks, we moved on to Serge Aurier, not the best player in the world, but Premier League experience. We had Lodi. And then we've levelled up again to the absolute worldies we've got at the back there now in Nuno's formation. And I think what we should be doing now is, yes, there's room for attacking football. There's room for expansive stuff with those two in midfield in particular, because I feel all Ange needed to do was drop Louise in from game one, and we would have been better. Straight away, we'd have been a bit more dynamic, a bit more forward thinking. Probably not Ange level forward thinking, but definitely not Nuno level of defensive stuff. Drop him in and then work it around him. Start bringing your backwards in, off the bench. Jesus on, start making changes around the pitch to suit. But I think from day one, he should have worked off that defensive strength, sitting in. There were times when it looks amazing, and you think, come on, go all the way. Morata's going to score a Maradona goal, and it looks amazing. But I'd rather them just sit there for now and let those other players do the job until the players are confident, the players are on the same page, the cohesion comes together. And this is why managers like Ange and like Amorim are getting absolutely slaughtered, because there's no in between. You are allowed to adapt. You are allowed to say, when Nuno first come in, the very first day, they said to him, what are you going to do? He says, I'm doing what Steve Cooper did. I'm not changing it very much from what Steve Cooper did. He played the same team and he played the same thing. Then bit by bit, he adapted it to play it his way. And I think that should be, and that is my little frustration with Ange, even though I want it all to work. And this midfield thing, because it does look good. It looks awesome when we're on the ball. It's when we're not on the ball and we're then overrun a little bit at the back.
Are we though? Did they create anything? The only things they created were from our mistakes and a dodgy refereeing decision. I take what you say about
to make saves. Still had to make saves. There was a period.
The saves he made were from stupid playing the ball around in our own area. The goal came from that sort of stupidity, didn't it, indirectly? And to me, Morata won his headers, won his tackles, but then passes straight to them outside the box a couple of times. That's where I see it. I think it's more when that ball went back to Sells before their goal.
You've got to remember as well, Mollo, we're playing Burnley.
I know exactly. But they didn't create anything.
Burnley, so they're not going to create the best chances in the world, but they still created chances. Yes, it might have been on our mistakes and our things.
Purely on our mistakes.
This is what we didn't do under Nuno. We did that under
I'm agreeing with you, Des. That's what I'm saying. But we don't look dodgy defensively. We look at our most dangerous to ourselves when we've got the ball at the back. That's what I'm trying to say.
Because when the ball came back to Sells, we look out of shape. That's the problem.
What about the goal? It came back to Sells. You had Anderson came deeper asking for the ball. That was an option. I'm not sure I'd have played that option on that pitch. And he played it out to Zinchenko, who was completely isolated. He took a first touch that was not quite perfect, and he was looking up, and he got into a tackle, managed to half win it, went out for a throw. They take a quick throw, cross it in. He's running back in to make up for his mistake, and looks like he's had a few beers after
every
it.
Goal,
that's going to happen.
Goal, if you wind it back, goes back to a mistake.
Yeah, but unnecessary mistake.
Get your drink.
No, but missing a header or missing a tackle they're different. Or getting beat by your man is a different thing. Like,
but I also don't like Forest being under pressure for 15 minutes either side of half time, because we were under pressure because we were allowing them to cross the ball because we didn't have the shape, the solidity what we'd had before. We made mistakes back there because they're playing a different brand of defensive football. We give the ball away, but because you're asking people to do things that is a little unnatural, it might come. They're capable in time. They're capable of doing these things. He's asking of them, and this is what I'm saying. The slight adjustment. I would have just liked Zinchenko to sit in at left back. Get up and down the line. Yes, occasionally come out, bring it into midfield. But what I saw for 15 minutes, and even before their goal, was that ball getting sprayed across and then getting crossed in without a challenge. If you'd got them in a 4, Nico would have been closer to the cross. So yes, you can find reasons for the goal, but it's about coming back into football matches as well. Got their crowd up, it got us a bit flat and a bit nervy and a bit edgy, and all these components had up to a thing. And I just think that if he just made that tweak, look, like I said before, Louise and Anderson, leave them to midfield. Those guys, like. Louise is just different gravy, honestly. Let's not forget the guy was at Man City and couldn't get a work permit, just a few years ago. So I totally agree with everything that's kind of said and what happened, but I felt we lacked that little bit of shape, in the early stages of Ange's reign. You've got to get things, you've got to build from a solid base. And that's not being negative, because I think Forest should win every time against teams like Burnley. I'm up my own arse thinking we're a bigger football club than them. But the reality is, if you're doing it and you're doing it properly, you think, get in there. There's more ways to get a 1-1 going into a match thinking we could quite easily lose this as much as we could win it. But that's where Dore started. That's where you go.
Equally, once we got ahead, and we did get ahead, and I'm not disagreeing with what you're saying, but our
disagree with Mollo. Don't let us win this.
No, but our defenders defended well. The crosses that came in.
Just get your cup of tea, Steve, and let these two bicker.
The crosses that came in that you're talking about, they eventually scored from a completely fluffed one, admittedly, at that point. We weren't in shape because we'd surrendered the ball while everyone was halfway up the pitch. But when the crosses came in, and credit where it's due, because everyone slaughtered him, Morato headed it away, or Milenkovic headed it away. Morato defensively had a really good game. The problem isn't when we haven't got the ball defensively. Our problem is when we have got the ball. Do you know what I mean? I get the Zinchenko thing leaves you almost like a back three, which luckily, as you say, Nico, he can head it almost like a centre-half as well. But those diagonal balls that Kyle Walker kept doing to, I think it was their left wing-back running down, never actually hurt us. It looked like it should, and maybe a better player or a better side would hurt us with that amount of space. I take what you're saying. But you've also got to say, and I know what you're saying about we should be beating Burnley, I get it, but look at where we were going into the game. We just conceded back-to-back 3 goals. We all accepted Arsenal are a good side. West Ham was a blip. But then we crappy Swansea, a village in the middle of nowhere with goodness knows how many pebbles and pounds of instant stones.
Please, can you stop mentioning that game, because me and Steve was there, so can you stop mentioning that game, please?
But what I'm saying is we're conceding 3 goals a game up to that point, and we never looked like conceding 3, apart from when we self-destructed with a stupid passing out. Selge has been brilliant. When that ball came back to him, I don't know why he just didn't clear it on a pitch like that, on a day like that, and he give a semi-hospital pass to Zinchenko, who fluffed it, no doubt, and he knows that. But is it high risk, high reward when you're playing around in your own area? I don't know. But then when Milenkovic went storming up the pitch and passed it into Wood's feet, it could have been high reward, I suppose.
But I feel that's a slightly different issue to the shape conversation.
Yeah.
Look, I don't like that playing about. I think eventually people are going to say, sod this, let's go back to how football used to be, because it's too risky. But the shape thing, it was just about the midfield, what Dore was asking, and I'd have just liked a bit more solidity. Look, I spoke about Zinchenko on an Arsenal podcast with Dore and gave them a bit of a talk, and the guy said, we've never noticed this before about Zinchenko. He's not great defensively anyway.
No.
I said this before Forest, and even in the Swansea game, he got turned inside out by their winger going backwards. So I understand why he plays off the front foot, why they get him into midfield. He's a tidy footballer. But I just feel in that game away from home, 1-0 up as well. 1-0 up was a bit of game management, and this is why Angie's got this is the biggest stick we all beat him with, and the press beat him with, it's that adaptation of and game management, during the thing. And I just felt once we'd gone in front, we could have just look. I love the attacking side of it, but we could have just played a flat back four, give Nico a bit of support. He had to make some last-ditch tackles over there, and he made them. And I think we'd have come out of that with a win because we played well enough to win. That's we're both on the same page there.
Yeah.
We both felt we did enough to win that game of football, and that's what's slightly disappointing. That's where I think we could have tweaked it to make sure we did.
But it is interesting. One of the sticks they beat Ange with, and you see all the Tottenham fans getting involved, is about how terrible his subs are. Well, that's the one thing we can't criticise this week. But I'm gonna defer. What do you think, Steve? I feel bad now.
No, wait, what me, Steve? I'm just there listening to you talk. Just like, yeah, go on. I'm just my
earning your money for you.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Steve, do you want anything before we move on?
I just finish off by saying I think the point being as well, we did something on Saturday, which we're not used to, especially under Nuno. We had about 68% possession, which we're not really used to on that much ball.
Milinkovic was running the ball in the 18-yard box. I'm like, get effing back.
Yeah.
What they're doing.
It goes back to what Des was saying earlier about the way we set up under Nuno. This is chalk and cheese football. This is a completely different way of football now. We've got to get used to it. Morato coming out from the back. He's skinned like two players.
Can I mention about Morato? All this, I know it's Burnley, no disrespect to Burnley, but I thought Morato played all right.
He played all right. Yeah. The only one thing he did do, the only one thing he did do, and I know Marlo touched on it, was when he tried to play like a 3-yard pass to Shevchenko in the 18-yard box. That was a bit silly. But again, it's just that risky football. I mean, at the end of the day, a lot of players just get that, once they get instilled, and that's the way Big Hans wants them to play. I mean, like I said, coming out, he tried to do Marino, like he did a Palace a few seasons ago, coming out from the back. Milinkovic, like you said, playing that through ball, like Kevin De Bruyne, you know what I mean? Just Chris Wood, where's that coming from? And I tell you one thing, when Murillo comes back, expect Murillo to go on these mazy runs again, because Ange is going to love that.
Oh, he's going to love that.
He's going to encourage him. If you get that.
Just hold that though, because he will. But after everything said about Zinchenko, he's going to have a lot of work to do in that left back spot. Last big tackle, putting players into the stands. Hey?
We're going to have two in defence. We're going to have the right back on Milinkovic. That's what we're going to have.
But let's remember one thing.
I think you might be surprised at who's the one most likely to stay back, because he's going to have a lot of work to do behind Zinchenko.
Let's remember one thing, though.
And he's got the pace and the power and the strength to get in and get across. You see it a lot anyway, even with the way we set up under Nuno. And I think you might be surprised. These players, Milinkovic, because of his style, might be allowed to go and do that. I think
you might straight back Milinkovic.
We don't want to see it, but I think
I don't want to see it.
If Chris Woods puts that away, nobody's complaining, are they?
Yeah. No, I think Chris Wood. I think Chris Wood was a bit taken back by the pass as well, because it came to him quick. I think he's a bit like.
Steve, that was a bit when I seen. I'm like, what's Milinkovic doing? Get back! And that's when he threw it to Chris Wood. And went, I shouted him, Milinkovic, get fucking. Sorry for language. back.
Let's remember one thing though. At Spurs, Ange had the pure pace of Van der Ven, of going forward, and when they got trouble going backwards, Van der Ven used to pull him out of the you-know-what as well because of his pace, hence why his hamstrings went so many times. But I'm hoping that doesn't happen to Murillo. But there was a goal that Spurs scored at Old Trafford under Big Ange, where Van der Ven literally carried it from his own team. Yeah, and squared the ball. I think it was Johnson who scored.
Yeah, it was Brennan. Yeah.
And tell you one thing, Murillo, he's going to tell Murillo, look, if you get a chance, just go on one of these runs. He's just going to,
I can't cope with this now. I can't cope with this.
Murillo.
I really can't.
Murillo reads the game.
The thing is, he's definitely going to do it because the other two have been given a license to it. You know, the two that can't do it have already been given license. He's basically said if the space is there, run into it, hasn't he?
Yeah.
That's basic football from being 4 years old. If you can play it forward, if you can run into space or you can play it forward, do it. You know, because we've got too much of this tippy-tappy crap in midfield. You know, passing sideways and backwards and back to fullbacks. If you can go forward with a ball at your feet, why would you not run 20 yards? You know,
someone's just made a great point on the comments, and
where is that?
Scott NFFC 1865 and Des Walker. No. Would you have shouted "get back" if that had been Pierce? Lol. That one. I know there's a lol on the end, but Des Walker talked about it when he was on the Overlap recently, wasn't he? About Stuart Pearce driving a game. I know it's a different character.
That one. This one.
Yeah. The number of times you saw Stuart Pearce driving, not just down the wing, but into midfield and linking up with Cloughie and Wendy and whatnot.
Yeah, but what did he say? He said
he scored 99 goals.
Well. Yeah.
No, he didn't. He said he never scored after I left because I was covering him.
Yeah, but he was covering him. And what did he say? He never went up for corners.
Yeah,
because he had the pace at the back. We all knew that anyway. It's common Forest knowledge. Yeah. But Des Walker, although he could head the ball, never went forward because he was the protection.
Yeah, and I think Murillo.
That's why Pearce could go and do his thing.
That's what I'm saying
about Murillo.
Yeah, 100%. But Murillo won't play.
But you look at the chance, right? Nico's second chance in the second half. Look how high up the pitch Nico was. He was on the edge of the 18-yard box, running onto that. That should have been like an Anderson or Gibbs White, or it was a right back, in central goal, taking a spin, running onto a cross.
When Williams done a second chance, I thought, so what's he doing there? I'm like, where's the rest of them? This is why my head like bam. I'm like, this Ange ball's giving me a headache.
And how many times did one fullback pass to the other in that game compared to normal? It was bizarre, wasn't it?
Des remember the look I gave him last week when the game kicked off against Swansea last week, right? And straight from the kickoff, Shevchenko went straight into midfield. And Des, if you remember, I turned around and looked at you and went, look, Shevchenko, straight away, we knew that was a tactic. And we were there watching it live and we were like, this is the way forward he's going to be. Because we know Shevchenko likes to come in field. He'd done it at Man City. He'd done it at Arsenal. It's all stemmed from Pep as well, because Pep was the one who brought this coming in off the flank into midfield. I don't think he's going to use Nico or Aina or the Italian boy as much, but he might use Aina. But straight away, this is what it's going to be now. This is, like I said earlier, this is completely different way under Nuno. We just got to get used to it. It is.
You know the way you lot talking about it. I'm like, it's hurting my head. I'm like, I just don't want it.
Kamikaze football, right?
Get back to defensive. No, it's killing me.
No, at the end of the day, it's a simple game. Pass to a red shirt. Defend your own box and put your chances away.
Molo, we're not going to defend. We're not going to have no defenders, Molo. They're all going to attack.
I'll tell you, Murillo will be crucial in this because in that first, was it 20 minutes against Arsenal? I think. This is my son. I think he earned his fantasy Premier League point or whatever for defensive contributions in the short time he was on the pitch.
Oh, he was excellent. He was excellent against Arsenal. He was incredible for the first 20 minutes.
What the fuck?
But he had to be because we had somebody playing out of position at left back that was way out of his depth as well. Do you know what? Someone said as well, as he got slaughtered, Morato, how bad he was at left back. But on that day, I don't think anyone would have fancied it against what's his face, the lad.
Madueke.
When he's on it, he takes some stopping, doesn't he? But anyway,
right. But no, brilliant. We've done 55 minutes, and we've not spoken about Betis.
We've got a flight to catch.
I'm finished packing yet.
Sean, thank you for being a member for 41 months. People, if you want to be a member like Sean, please do. Right, let's go forward, because I like to do our show, but because it's about Betis, everyone excited. Like I said, myself, this idiot, this clan, and he's stuck in Wales. People in the chat, who's going to Betis? I am. I'll be doing my usual vlog, loads of videos as well. Des will be doing his usual video. Molo, are you doing a vlog for that?
I'm filming stuff and sending it to someone who apparently is sending it all to you.
Oh, that's perfect then. That's all right. That's all right then. Right.
So yeah, but you're doing all the work apparently.
I'm doing all the work. I'll do all the work. Don't worry about it. Right. This is amazing because, like I said, it's been 29 years, isn't it? Since the last game against Bayern Munich. Last year, Molo, first man, because it's mad, isn't it? We're going to Europe to play Betis, and now how's it feel, man? How's it feel?
Oh, I'm buzzing. Like everybody else, I can't wait. I feel like we've landed on our feet with the order of the fixtures for lots of reasons, footballing and non-footballing. Going to Spain in late September. It's predicted to be around about 30 degrees apparently, and 25 degrees in the evening. So I don't even have to pack a pair of jeans. Just go in my shorts. It's always good. So that's Seville's an absolute. No, I'm not wearing shorts. No, shorts. I'm not even packing my jeans. I'm not even taking a coat. Seville's a stunning city anyway to visit, I think, and the stadium is recently refurbished. Well, more than refurbished, isn't it? Completely revamped. I think we've landed on our feet having that game first. It's our hardest game out of the 8 on paper anyway, so we're getting it out the way. It's a bit of a free hit, and we're playing them at a point when everything we've just talked about, we're not where we want to be yet. So what happens. I'd love to win or get a point out there, but it's just the experience. I mean, it's a fantastic experience. Travelling to watch your team play in Europe, it takes some beating. I wish I didn't have responsibilities that obviously I have now. I'm an old man. When I was 22 and last went, it was brilliant.
How old?
I was 22, same age as Ellie exactly is now. It's sort of circle of life. But, you know, that was different because we just went over there and we planned to go for 3 days, ended up being stuck there for about a week. It was just magical. Whereas this time it's very much get on the plane, get home, go to work the next day. However, and aside from all this collecting your ticket farce, it's going to be amazing. It's causing me a little bit of a headache if flights get delayed, but not major. And because I'm not having to drive after the game or anything like that, I just can't wait.
People always say if you're doing a super chats because Des can get me a drink from the ground. I'm still waiting for Des to get me a drink because he's tight as that. Des, are you excited? Des, can you be on that, Des?
Be on what?
On the alcohol.
Spanish beer is great.
Spanish beers.
Why would you not have a beer when you're going to watch fight?
I don't drink, Des. You know I don't drink.
And you've got to preempt it with Des and say, Des has turned it into that sort of short stay holiday bit, haven't you, where you're staying and everything, to be fair.
I think you have to make it
an adventure tomorrow. People in the chat, do you think that's a drink?
I make Swansea away an adventure, so I'm bound to make Betis
People in the chat, do you think that's a drink?
I didn't wear my coat to Swansea away, which was a bit stupid.
I thought you were saying you forgot to take your boat.
I've been saying all week, if it rains in Betis, I'm giving up.
No, if it does, I'm going.
I would find that quite funny.
I'm taking no jeans.
It should be warm rain.
I would find that quite funny, man, if it does rain.
If it rains, that'd be funny as hell, man.
Seriously though, do you know what's brilliant about it already? And this is just what football does. I talk about adventures and things like this, and I love sort of talking to people and meeting new people. You know, talk to people all around the world these days, as you see, as brought together by your channel, Dore. But already I've kind of met people without meeting them, because I'm meeting someone there to travel on this bus with. I'm going up from Malaga to Seville, and then I'm going to this bar to get on this bus, and it's going to be full of Forest fans and all this kind of thing. So already it's going to be epic. It's already going to be brilliant. Yes, I will have a few beers.
Just a few.
Although I have got Robin Hood half marathon on Sunday, so I've got to be a little bit careful.
Wow.
I've got to be careful.
Oh,
And
no,
I am going to the theatre on Thursday night with Kay. So
this Thursday.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh, when you get back.
We get back.
Yeah, I'm going to, what we're going to see. What's it called? Dear England.
Oh, very good.
So I've got quite a few days ahead of me. But
oh God.
That was the stress about the flight on the way back and getting back in the afternoon on Thursday. So it's going to be a fleeting visit. But again, like Molo said, I've not seen Forest play competitively in Europe, and it's never the same. You can tell me you've been to here, there, and then I've been to some. I've been to Denmark and I've been to Spain and Valencia. And Valencia was brilliant because it was mid-season.
Valencia was brilliant.
But it's another level, competitive. It's like the difference between friendly and Chesterfield and Brentford, isn't it? You just can't compensate for what real matches bring, even though we're daft enough to go to them as well. So, but again, you always come back with a story. You always come back with new friends, and I'm not being silly and daft about it, but that's what football does, isn't it? And as long as you've got that, yes, the result matters. Of course it does, because we all get worked up about it and upset and wind up and all these things. But when you've got those things, it doesn't. Just that little bit, it doesn't matter quite so much, because you've had a great time, and regardless of the result, and we're this kind of fan between us, and I'm not saying we're any better or worse than anyone else, but you'll do it again.
You're a super fan, Des. You're a super fan. Is that what Des was called, wasn't it?
You'll go and do it again, win, lose or draw, win or lose on the booze and all that. We'll go and do it again, and we'll be at the next one, and that's all it's about, isn't it? Look, I've said to you, I'd love to be going into it the way I was feeling after Brentford, because felt like we was on a crest of a wave. But football turns, doesn't it? Quickly, it turns really 100%. Quickly, one way or the other. Just when you think Bournemouth, when Nuno come in, we didn't want Nuno, we didn't want to play Newcastle away. Bang, bang, bang. All of a sudden, things change, and we went on this upward curve again. And hopefully that, because like Molo spoke about the circle of life, it would be Ange Postecoglou, wouldn't it? We've had Ange, as we expected to have Ange. It would be Ange to go and win away 2-0 in the Europa League, wouldn't it? Because this is, without getting into cliches and trying to do Aussie accents, this is what he does.
What we do, mate.
It's who we are, mate.
This is kind of
who we are.
If you're judging him on anything last season, you're judging him on his Europa League, and he'd tend to win football matches in the Europa League. So, again, just sometimes the way things kind of pan out in football and form, and not sort of match form, I just mean form in general, is it could be set up for us to go and win there and then come back and beat Sunderland 3-0. And then we're all back on. We're all on the Fosters and shrimp on the Barbie.
There's older. Right, people. What's everyone's score prediction, man, for the Betis game? Scott said, "Where you guys? I'm flying from Luton. Des, where you flying from?
Gatwick.
Molo?
Same, Gatwick, but to Barcelona.
So, yeah. So people in the chat, are you going to the game? If you do, ignore Des, ignore Molo, because they'll be on the.
Yeah, you know what Des said about meeting new people. Did he tell you that mad coincidence? He stood on the start line for the Great North Run with 20,000 people. Whatever it is, with one of my mates.
60,000.
60,000. Whoa! And he stood next to Clive, one of my friends.
Did I?
Yeah. He was also going to Seville.
Oh, crazy! That is absolutely mad. Right, people, what's everyone's score prediction for the Wednesday game? Like I said, all three was there. Steve will be watching from the TV, and he will be doing after game reaction from as well. So, Steve, make sure you do your job properly, if that's okay. So, who should start with? Des, what's your score prediction?
No idea. 2-5.
You know what?
I can't predict a game when we play in a domestic league. Never mind a team I've never seen in my life.
Right, it's just a team of Premier League rejects.
No, to be fair, I seen Betis on Friday, and
let me stop you there, Dore. Let me stop you there. Do your research. Sociedad have barely scored a goal all season, at the bottom of the league with 0 points. That's who they beat 3-1. That's the only game they've won in the last 4.
Okay.
And they've got a team. They got that Firpo, is it, that played for Leeds? And
yeah, they got Felipe. They got
Bellerin,
Anthony.
Obviously, Anthony. Yeah, but Bellerin's there. On paper, we should be able to bury them. I'm going for 2-2, by the way.
Okay.
I'll just say, Dore, I just got that feeling like the football gods, it's nonsense in reality, but because of Ange in the Europa League, if he's going to get his first win anywhere, it just feels like fate that it's going to be in the Europa League, because of everything that's gone before.
Well, going by... Oh, go on, Ben.
Go on, Steve. Go on.
Oh, no, going by... I don't know if you've seen Big Ange's record against Real Betis, because I think he is scored 9, conceded 1, I think. I did read something the other day, because he's played him when he was in charge of Celtic. And didn't Spurs play him? I'm not sure. But his record has been very good.
That was Alan. That was Alan that commented.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, it's a full and fire.
But going by, again, I'm like Des. I don't know much about Real Betis at the moment, but I'm going for safety. I'm going for 1-1. But you know what? I think Ange is going to surprise us. I think he's got. I'm getting confidence of what he's been saying in his press conferences about his knowledge about European football, and I think he has something up his sleeve. But I'll go safety. I'll go 1-1. But can I just say one thing? Yeah. This is going to be a whole new kettle of fish. Des touched on it about the culture, the surroundings. You're going to have to get used to these players rolling around. The referee's going to play a big part. The crowd for every tackle Forest win for, they're going to be calling for. The Spanish crowd are so on the players. As in the Forest player going here and they're going to roll around. They're going to win free kicks. It's going to be completely different.
Steve, when me and Des went to Valencia away, the police are mental. We had a good time there, but the police are mental. You got that 1 or 2 Forest fans who idiots, but they're doing a mess. If you step out of line,
I'm on about in general the whole feeling. And obviously, I'm not going to be there to experience it live, but it's just going to be completely, it's going to be chalk and cheese compared to what you're going to experience against normal domestic games in Burnley, and you know what I mean. It's going to be an experience anyway. Because what's that stadium? 60,000 people.
In my head. Just something that's popped into my head, and maybe this is why Ange is quite successful in Europe, is because they play this slow build-up, and when you play like that, it's hard sometimes to click into gear, unless you're Nuno's team, with the speedsters we had. But if you haven't got that out-and-out pace, it's hard to click into gear and go. And I wonder if this actually aids Ange's tactics, because we move the ball and we get forward, or his teams have, not as necessarily. And I wonder if European football actually plays into Ange's hands. I'm convincing myself now we're going to win, by the way. But I'm talking myself into it. But do you see what I'm saying? The fact they play this slow build-up probably allows us to get the ball back a bit easier than when we're having to chase Burnley's wingers down the line and that kind of thing, or Swansea's live wires down the wing. Whereas when they start sort of playing across midfield, playing tippy-tappy themselves, it probably allows us to get back in, or his team, Tottenham, historically, and then get the ball back and then go again. Do you see what I'm saying?
I do.
It'll be interesting. I'll now sort of work off that when I'm watching the game. It'll be interesting to sort of see that that theory in practice on the
I
night.
love that you've basically just said Real Betis are not as good as Swansea or Burnley. I love that.
I didn't say that though. Don't be like Dore, Mollo.
You imply an implication.
I said they play a different style.
I know. I'm winding you up.
No, Mollo, just wind him up.
No.
My score prediction, after what I saw on Saturday, with the defenders going like really high,
8-7.
No, I've seen 4-3 Forest, 4-3 Forest. I think Milekovic will get 2, Murillo and
Sells.
And Sells. I think, you know what? I've got this in my mind. Sells be like on the halfway line, something in the lines, man, because it scared me. It scared me. Like, rush keeper.
Super keeper.
Yeah. So yeah, I think Forest will 4-3.
Do you know what handball reminds me of? Do you know when we got to the Premier League and we played West Ham, and you realised, even though it weren't the best game and technically it weren't great overall, you realised it was a million miles an hour, and we all come out as fans and went, "I'm knackered."
I was. No, but that's how I thought, Des.
It took about a season to get used to that, didn't it? Every game you come out and your head was shot, like thinking, I've just watched Rashford like running up and down like a lunatic. Like now, Ange's coming. You come out of games and go, I need to sit down.
That's what I felt, Des. Right, people, we're going. It's been a great show. Me, like I said, Des, and Mollo will be there in Spain having fun. Des will be on the alcohol. Mollo will be on the alcohol. I'll be on a cup of tea. No, fuck. Yeah, so I'm not. Yeah, I'm drinking. So people, if you're doing any super chats, so Des can get me a drink, please do. That helps me a lot.
People, if you want to do a super chat, so Dore finally buys his top guest a drink. And,
top guest a drink.
Guest.
What are we top guest? My backside top guest.
All the support we give you.
Right, people, it's been a great show. Make sure, like I said, everyone follows everyone on social media. Follow Des on his X and Far From Travel on Instagram. Make sure everyone follows Tricky Talks as well. The link is at the top. So if you can, it's on Spotify. Listen to Mollo, Kate, Chelsea, and Simon as well. And Steve's not on. Steve doesn't do nothing. So, but yeah, people, watch out for the vlogs. I hope everyone has a safe trip to Spain. It's gonna be an epic vlog. I think it's gonna be a great vlog. Whatever happens.
Vamos.
That's the word. But vlog, acting reaction. We'll be doing your stuff. Mollo be doing a vlog. Well, Mollo's doing a vlog. Bloody hell. Mollo's doing a vlog.
I already said to the guys, by about 5 o'clock, it'll be pointless. They said, can you take some footage after the game? I said, I can try. It'll be blurry.
No. We don't want the pissed up Mollo. Sorry. We don't need that. We don't need that. But right, people, I'll see you in Spain. I don't think I'll be doing a review. But if it happens, it happens. But yeah. Right. Vamos. I'll see everyone in Spain. Gonna be fun.
Adios.
Make sure if you see Des in Spain, just ignore him. Peace and love. Up the bloody forest.